you're working on yourself. You're trying to build better habits. You're trying to think more positively, build the life for yourself that you've always dreamed of. But some days, it just feels off. Some days, it feels like you're going nowhere. Like you feel stuck. You have a setback. And then you start to wonder, is this even working? You know, it gets to a point where it's like you've been going on for so long, but you think you're not making progress, like nothing's happening, and you think, is this even working? Like, am I even making any progress? And everyone says to you, just trust the process, everything's aligning. It's so hard to believe when you think you're not making progress, right? You're doing all the hard things. You're making yourself uncomfortable. You're getting out of your comfort zone. You're doing things that you know would benefit your future self, but you just feel like you're going nowhere, right? And so, you know, what if everything is aligning, that sentence? What if it's not about everything being easy? You know, it's not about the absence of struggle. It's not about everything being easy and going smoothly and just like succeeding, like everything's aligning, right? Everything is getting into place. But what you don't realize is that there is a hidden process beneath the surface of your life. And if you know how to look for it, you will see the proof everywhere that, in fact, your life is aligning. Hi, my name is Waad. Welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be talking about the unseen process. The unseen process of when you're trying to become successful. Obviously, it's definitely not easy to achieve such big goals. And you need to realize this, that even when you feel so hopeless, just know that everything you are going through right now is making you stronger. It's building that version of yourself that is meant to receive everything that you've always wanted to receive, so then you can become stronger and then, you know, eventually achieve your goals. But the thing is, you need to remember that you can't stop now. You're getting there. You're going to have hard times, but if you give up now, just know that you are guaranteed to never make it. But if you keep on going, then you will get there someday. Okay, here's an example. Think about building a house, right? What do you see first? You see a messy construction site, right? You see a hole in the ground, just overall chaos, right? And it seems like nothing's happening, like nothing is even happening, right? There's no house, obviously, when you're building it. But the architect knows this is the most crucial phase, because this is where the foundation is being poured. And this part is so important because it determines whether the house will actually stand strong or not, right? And so I want you to think of this example as the phase you're going through right now in life, right? You know, it seems like nothing's happening, right? But this is the most important phase of your life, where it will determine if you actually make it or not. It is building you. It is making you strong so you can stand. So if you were to get into anything later on, if you were to have troubles in life later on, you will be strong because you've been through it. You've been through the struggles. And so that failed habit, that habit that you can't stay consistent with, it isn't failure. It wasn't failure. It was you learning an important lesson about your triggers and what you truly need, right? If you fail to keep a habit, you know why. You know exactly why. And so don't think of it as failure. Think of it as a lesson, because you know what? The same thing is going to keep on happening to you over and over again until you realize your mistake and you learn from it. And so the next time you do even better. So don't think of it as failure. Think of it as a lesson learned, an important lesson learned. And the challenges that feel like they're breaking you, like, you know, like those challenges, those struggles, that just feel like they are breaking you, just realize that it is forging your inner strength. It is building your inner strength. You're looking for the furnished living room, but right now, life is focused on making sure that your foundation doesn't crack. So trust the unseen architecture. Trust the unseen process. And look, a point that I want to make is that you don't have to just blindly believe that, oh, everything's aligning. Because how can you believe that everything is aligning when you feel like giving up, when you feel like everything's just breaking you, your struggles are getting to you, right? It's hard to believe it. But alignment shows up in 3 different key ways. And the first way that alignment shows up is the unlikely connections, right? Say you have a random conversation, or you find a book by chance, or you hear something on the radio or from a song, right? And it's like it gives you the insight or comfort that you needed. You just feel like this is exactly what I needed to hear. This isn't a coincidence. This is God connecting the dots you didn't even know were there. The second thing is the necessary endings. Sometimes for the right things to fall into place, the wrong things have to fall apart. This could be that someone left your life, a relationship ended, a job feels draining, identity crumbles. In the moment, it feels like a loss. You feel miserable. You're like, God, why are you doing this to me? Is this a punishment? And slowly with time, you'll realize that it is making space for the new things, because every bad thing that happens to you will always have a better outcome. You might not realize it in the moment, but with time, you'll realize that it was making space for the new things to come into your life, right? So you need to get rid of the old to make room for the new, better things that are on their way. The last and third one is the internal shift. This is the most important one, because you need to realize that life cannot deliver your dream version to the current version that you are, the current version of yourself now. You have to become a match for it. That's why to become the person you want, you need to act like you have to become the person like you want to become before you get there. That's why I say act. Your habits have to match the person that you want to become, or else how are you going to get there? Exactly. So you either act your way there, or life will force you to. Okay, that's why you're being forced to develop patience. That's why you're being forced to build self-discipline. That's why you're being forced to get out of your comfort zone. You need to realize that this inner work isn't a detour. It is a path. You are literally being aligned on the inside to be able to hold the peace, joy, and abundance that is coming into your life. And so if everything is aligning, do you just sit back, relax, and do nothing? Absolutely not. Your job is to not force the outcome. Don't be obsessed with the outcome. Become obsessed with the process of getting there. Be obsessed with the work you have to put in. Your job is to manage your energy and take purposeful actions towards it. If you are not putting in the work, don't even worry about manifesting. Don't even worry about thinking about, oh, everything's aligning. Do the work and then think, okay, well, everything's aligning. Trust the process. Yeah, trust the process, be patient. But if you're not putting in the work, how do you expect to manifest things, right? When you're manifesting, you have to put the work in. You have to take action towards it. If you do nothing, if you do the same thing you always did, you'll always get the result that you always got. So yes, don't sit back and do nothing, right? Don't. Take the action towards your goals and trust and control your energy. Make sure that your energy is like high vibrational, right? Don't be on like the low one where it's like guilt, anger. No, try to be grateful. Gratitude is the cheat code to success. That is the fastest way that you can become successful, is to be grateful, because God says that if you are grateful, I will give you more. So be grateful, control your energy, and just take purposeful actions towards your goal, and trust that everything is aligning and that everything will turn out how you want it to turn out. You just need to trust God and trust the timing. So something to do is to just do the very obvious next thing to do. You know, you are not going to see the whole pathway to success. No, you are not until you take the very first step. So think, okay, what is one very obvious small step that I can take that, like, to you represents growth? It could be going on a walk. It could be reading. It could be cleaning your room. Do that, and then the next step that you need to take will reveal itself. So if you are in the messy middle right now that nobody talks about and it just feels like nothing is working, I want you to hear this. The silence isn't abandonment. It's preparation. The struggles isn't a sign that you are on the wrong path. It's a sign that you are on a path that's forging you into someone stronger. The delays are not denial, they are divine timing, and you are not behind, you are being prepared. Close your eyes for a second and just say to yourself, everything is aligning, and feel the peace that comes with it. Not as a wish, but as a knowing. If this message found you at the right time, don't forget to like and subscribe for more reminders that you are exactly where you need to be.